Good morning, everybody. It is time for our math lesson of the week, and it's going to be our last week learning about 3D shapes. We're going to do a quick review of edges and vertices or corners. Refresh your memory. You've got 2 worksheets to do on that today, and then we're going to do 2 math journals this week so that I know that you know your 3D shapes, and then we're going to move on to measurement. So let's get started with today's math lesson. We know that 3D shapes are made up of sides. Let's look at our cube like always. Sides, edges, and corners or vertices, right? So we're going to identify or look at and point out where our corners and edges are on a few of our shapes for today. So I drew, it's very hard to draw 3D shapes. I tried my best. I drew a cube and a pyramid, and I want us to identify the vertices or the corners together. Let's start with our cube. I'll grab a different color to point them out. Our cube, we need to identify the corners and vertices, which are all of the points on our cube, right? So just like when we did our vertices for our 2D shapes and we looked at a square, we knew that it had 4 vertices or 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we can do the same thing with our 3D shapes. So if you have your cube or you have something that is cube shaped, like a dice or something, grab it to help us count together, all right? I'm going to count on our board 1 here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 vertices on our cube. Let's count on our cube just to remind ourselves one more time if it was hard to follow along on my drawing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back here, 6, and the 2 at the bottom, 7, and 8. 8 corners or vertices. Let's count for our pyramid now. Now, for our pyramid, it's going to change depending on the base shape of our pyramid. So the one I drew here has a square bottom. So if you can find your pyramid, remember pyramids are made up of triangles on the sides and then one base shape. The one that I drew here was a square pyramid, okay? So find that one. And let's count our vertices together. I'll count on here and then we'll count with our shape. So we know that the point of our pyramid at the very top, that is a vertice or a corner. So let's start there with 1. Then we go to our base shape on the bottom and we can count the rest of the corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, and don't forget the top, so this one has 5. So our cube had 8 and our square pyramid had 5. Now what if it was my triangle pyramid, a triangular pyramid where the base shape is a triangle? I would count my 1 up top, so 1, and then I would count the 3 corners of my triangle. So 1, and then 2, 3, 4. It would have 4. All right, so not all pyramids have 5. Excellent. Now let's move on to the edges. So the edges are the lines that make up our shapes. So if we go back to our 2D shape and we look at our square, our edges are the lines that make up the surrounding of our shape. So we can count for our 2D square. It has 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 4. So now we can do the same thing, but for our 3D shapes. So we'll count on here first and then I'll show you with our 3D shapes. So for edges, let's count them. I'll highlight them with the pink one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I have to do my dotted lines because those are the back sides. So we're at 8, 9, 10, 11. Did I miss one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's count our cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's count the edges of our cube. Let's do it with this. Are you ready? So we want to count the outer edge first. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? Then we can count the back square. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 8. Then we count all of the edges that connect the two squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we can go back here. When I counted my cube here, I got 11, but that's because when I drew my cube, I actually made a mistake because I found it hard to draw 3D shapes. Let me go to my page here. And I drew it to the wrong spot. I missed a corner. All right, so it's hard for me to count from this one one, 2, 3. Here, let's use this one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 that make up the front side. Oh, that's the one I missed. This one. Here we go. This one. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 making up the top square. 1, 2, 3, 4 making up the side square. 1, 2, 3, 4 making up the front one. And then the ones that connect it all together, making 12. So let's look at it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So use your cube, it will help you count your edges. Let's go on to our pyramid. Again, I drew a square pyramid on my board. So we need to count how many edges it has. So we start with our base shape. We start with the bottom. And it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we count the edges up to the point. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it is 8. 8 and 12. I'm so sorry that I screwed up the counting of our cube. It's much easier to count with your actual cube as opposed to my drawing of it as I missed this bottom line here. So it has 12, I kept counting 11, but it's because I missed this line down here connecting the front to the back. So those are our edges and our vertices or corners. So your job in your math bulletin is to find the page that says vertices at the top. And these are just examples. And your job is to draw a circle just like I did here. And then tell me how many vertices it has. So it did an example for you. So for this triangular pyramid, it drew the dots. It did 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. And then it wrote the number 4. Your job is to complete this page. The next one is on the back, and it's for edges. You have to do the same thing. You have to draw the numbers beside the edges to help you remember that you counted it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then write how many edges it has. On the bottom it says, use a real 3D object. How many faces meet at each edge, and compare your answer with a partner. So, how many faces meet at each edge? Remember, the face is the flat surface. Those are the sides. So your job is to find any 3D object. Let's see, what am I going to use? I'll use my eraser for my whiteboard. And I'm going to count how many faces meet at the edge. How many faces meet at the edge? Okay, how many faces meet at one edge? So remember, the edge is my lines here that make up my 3D shape. So if this is my side or my face that I'm looking at, I need to see how many edges meet. How many faces meet at one edge? So I'm going to pick this top edge here. I have one face up top and one face down below. So that's 2. So I would write 2. And then I'd ask my mom and dad, Mom and Dad, how many faces meet at this edge of my 3D shape? And see what they get, okay? You can use anything you want. That completes our math lesson for today. And then we'll go on to our math journals for the rest of the week, where you will help me identify and show me some different 3D shapes. Enjoy.